Hello everyone and welcome to part 2 of my tier list where I rank the cars that you suggested to me in the comments. So yes, that's the way this works. The cars in this video were taken from the comments in the last video, and if you want to suggest some cars for the next video, just put them in the comments in this video and I'll add them as long as they're a real car and not already here. Anyway, as you might be able to see, the theme for this is seemingly massive pickup trucks and SUVs, all cars I very much dislike, so this is probably going to end up being a big rant, but hey, that's just the way it is. Suggest to me whatever you want. It doesn't matter whether I like it or not. It's going on the list. Starting with, not an SUV or a truck or pickup or anything. A W212 Mercedes E220D. Now, what it is just a diesel E-Class. It's not a very exciting car, really. It's better than a diesel or low-end petrol C-Class, and not as good as a diesel or low-end petrol S-Class. It's just a Mercedes, and that's really about it. There's nothing exciting or interesting to it. I mean, the engine will last for ages. I mean, the electronics certainly won't, but hey, I'll probably put it here because it's an average car, and whilst the DeLorean is probably a worse car, I'd rather have a DMC-12 over a, well, boring S-Class, E-Class. They're so boring, they'll blend into each other, even though they really shouldn't, because they're completely different cars. But yes, next car, Mercedes-Benz Unimog. Now, you could quite easily argue that this is a truck, and to be honest, it is a truck. And if you've seen my videos on my previous iteration of this on my old channel, I said no trucks, cars, vans and pickups only. Now, I still stand by that, but I don't know, there's no proper way for me to describe what I draw the line between. Like, certainly no Scanias or no, what are they called? The International XTs, but those are basically almost Unimog-like anyway. But there's no proper way to describe it. If I think it's a truck, I won't add it. If I'm deciding to add it, I'll add it. There's not really any way for me to properly explain it. But yes, the Unimog. I honestly, for all my distaste of the massive American pickups and things, I quite like the Unimog because at its base, it's just basically a massive pickup truck. Or it's not even that, because it's got an empty rear half of the chassis, so you could basically put anything you want on it. Tipper, pickup bed, motorhome, cement mixer, telehandler, just about anything. And I don't know, I just like a Unimog. I certainly not as much as, I think this is, I might find this is too high at a later date, but I'm going to put it just above the Mark 1 Quad. It's too high now. Yeah, I don't know, I just like a Unimog. There's no really other way to describe it. Now, something I don't like is this. Now, the comment that was it specified the Ford F650, and because of my strange, unknown method of deciding what's a truck and what's not, I'm not having the normal F650. But what I will add is this, the F650 Super Truck, which the picture is too big, but couldn't really find too many pictures of it. Now, the reason I probably couldn't find too many pictures of it, what on earth was going through someone's mind when they decided to make this? Like, right, if you're European and not familiar with the F650, it's what Ford sells as a base. It's like with the Unimog, they sell it with a cab and an empty back chassis for you to put like a tipper or a bin lorry or a cement mixer or just about anything on it, like utilitarian purposes for the municipal departments and things. But someone decided to make it a double cab pickup truck with, it's utterly hideous is what it is. There's no point to it. Like, I don't understand the American craze of these massive pickup trucks. It just, I don't see a logic behind it, because they never go off-road, they never tow anything, they never put anything in the beds, they're barely ever filled with 5 people. It's just utterly stupid. And this will certainly, it probably won't even move, and if it does, it'll probably require an entire power plant to move it 3 feet. It's awful, it's disgusting, I hate it. It's just disgusting. Yes, I would rather have a Fiat Uno over it, and that's the complete opposite of the scale. It's a terrible car, partly because it's so small. This is a terrible car because it's so big. So yes, I'm not. I don't favour anything just because of how big or small it is. It's whether it's stupid or not, and this is utterly stupid. Anyway, something else that's stupid is the Mercedes G63 6x6. Now, this is in the same boat as this. It's not as big as the F650, but it's still stupid. It's a V8 pickup truck with 6 wheels. But, for whatever reason, my inner 5-year-old seems to like it a bit more. Not too much, though. I still can use my common sense and think, why? I don't like it. I just don't. I don't like the modern G-Class anyway. Like, I like the old original G-Wagons because as much as I dislike SUVs, I do quite like a proper off-roader. But the modern ones, even the AMGs, they just don't like them because all they're going to end up doing is cruising around Dubai or London or Monaco at 30 at most. They're not going to do anything remotely useful. So it's just terrible. Not a fan. Adding another axle doesn't improve it. Anyway, Mercedes GLA. I think GLA 250. I mean, yeah, they all blend into each other. But anyway, it's 2021 model. Now, I don't like massive SUVs, and I don't like tiny ones. I don't like crossovers, and potentially I dislike crossovers even more because they've basically killed off everything else. They've killed off the hatchback, they've just about killed off the estate. They've killed off coupes and convertibles, or the affordable ones anyway. Anything south of a Porsche Cayman, it's just about been obliterated. So yeah, this is like, actually, to be honest, it is a problem all over the world. They've just made the road so boring. Like, every 3 cars is just a grey or black or white crossover. It's just not great. I mean, don't get me started on the coupe SUVs. They're a whole other thing. They're just hideous. But this commits the crime of being so unfathomably boring and just taking the soul out of cars. There's just nothing left. I mean, if this was 20 years ago, you'd say a Ford Mondeo or a BMW 3 Series, they're boring cars. Like, which they are still, but I'd rather have people still in saloons and estates than this, because at least I can tell the difference between a Ford Mondeo or a BMW 3 Series or a Volvo S60. It's just, these though, if you took the badges off them, even I wouldn't be able to tell. But that's probably mostly because I don't even care about them anymore. I don't want to keep up with every single new crossover SUV that's made. I only really care about interesting cars, which there aren't too many. And an interesting car doesn't have to be a £200,000 Lamborghini or a Rolls Royce or anything. I mean, think back to the 90s when they were making loads of cool little sporty coupes like the Peugeot 406, the Vauxhall Calibra, the Ford Puma, which, I mean, they were sort of in different subclasses, but you get what I mean. This, it's awful. I hate it. And this specific one, the 2021 one, I just think its proportions are a bit off. It's like the front's too big, and then the rest of the car's too small. It's too thin and tall. It might just be the picture, but I don't know. Its proportions are all off. Anyway, next one. Hennessy Velociraptor. Now, Hennessy usually make brilliant things, like supercharged Mustangs and Vipers and things, and not to mention the Venoms, which are the fastest cars in the world, some of the fastest cars in the world. This, though, is, again, another example of one of these stupid, massive pickup trucks, except this time it's based off a Ford Raptor, and it's called, like I said, the Hennessy Velociraptor, because, yeah, why not? It's Raptor, Velociraptor. But yeah, it's just, again, it's utterly stupid, and I mean, you could swap these two around any day. I mean, do I blame this more for introducing the concept of these what's the word? Like, tanks, pigs, cows? Like, something massive and ungainly. But yes, they're just not, like, I think the F-150 is just a bit uglier. That's the only metric I'm really comparing them against, because I mean, they've both got big powerful V8s. They're both probably not any good to drive. They're both probably not any good off-road because, I mean, yeah, they've got big tyres. That's about it. I mean, to be fair, I have seen some videos of this attacking sand dunes and things fairly well, but I don't know. When I say I like off-roaders, I don't like the big, over showy off G-Class off-roaders. But then again, I said I like the G-Class. You know, if you're going to try and make sense of what I think about cars, you'd really struggle, because I can't make sense of it, because I've probably been eating my own words without realising it about 5 different times in the past 10 minutes. So, yes. Right, this is the Rezvani Hercules, and it's like these two, apart from the fact that it's worse because they claim it's got a 1300 horsepower V8, and I don't really believe that. So this is worse than these two because, well, it doesn't exist. That's the thing. At least these two, they actually are a thing. They don't, which maybe is its own sin, but they don't make false claims about their own existence. So yes, I think that's where they go. These two are worse. Yeah, no, these are all awful cars. No redeeming features for me, at least in terms of matters of taste and decency. Anyway, next car, Hummer H1. Now, if 3 people who are unfamiliar with the Hummer H1, it's a demilitarised version of the Humvee, which was, for whatever reason, sold for civilian use. What a civilian would need with this massive, ungainly brick, I do not know. But certainly compared to this and these, it's like more likeable. I mean, I still think it's completely tasteless, but it's less tasteless than these. I would certainly never consider owning one. Certainly not in Europe, where the roads are a lot, where the roads aren't like 300 meters wide. But yeah, it's not my thing. Like, I get that it's like what I said about off-roaders earlier. I get this is extremely capable off-road, but I just don't like the way it looks, and it's just far too big for me. Like, the sort of off-roaders I like are like a Land Rover Defender or something like that. Not this. I've never been a Hummer fan, really. I don't know, I just think they're too big and stupid. Anyway, next car, Lamborghini. The first Lamborghini on the list, and it happens to be my least favourite. This is the Lanzador concept, and what it is, it's Lamborghini's idea of the type of car I hate more than any other, an electric coupe SUV. Like, how far away from a Lamborghini is this? I mean, we'll talk about the LM002 in a minute, but it's to start with, I know it's a concept, I know the proportions aren't final, but they say they are going to put it into production in 2029, or which I hope that fails. Like, why would you put this in production, but you didn't put the Estoque in production, for example, or the Carla? I mean, I know Lamborghini had financial problems when the Carla was about, but I see no excuse for not putting the Estoque into production, because, I mean, around that time, what would its rivals have been? Like high-end Panameras and the Aston Martin Rapide. Now, the Rapide sold poorly, but the Panamera, from what I can see, did sell fairly well. Maybe that was more of the lower-end ones, like the diesels. But I don't know. I would have rather had an Estoque over a Urus any day. But this, like, it's like they're trying to keep it low-slung and sporty, and they're just failing miserably. They've made it... What it is like a Urus that's had an anvil dropped on it, basically, and then they've tried to make it sporty. Like, it's like it isn't like I was talking about the Estoque. It's like a lifted up, mutilated version of that, but then that'd be a bit harsh on the Estoque. It's just terrible. I hate it. This thing is the exact definition of exactly what is wrong with all modern cars. I hate it. This is what is wrong with modern... Not this. This is wrong with what modern... This is what's wrong with modern motoring incarnate. It's just disgusting. Now, this. Again, this is where one of the points where I'm going to contradict myself, but I quite like the LM002. Now, what this was Lamborghini's attempt to make a military vehicle. It didn't go through because what it is basically just a big Jeep thing with the engine from a Countach in, and that's why I like it. It's just so stupid. I mean, people have taken to calling it the Rambo Lambo, and I mean, you can see why. It's just so random. I mean, Lamborghini did have a few other attempts at this beforehand with the LMA 001 and the Cheetah, which were intended to be the military versions, and they had the parts, they had the idea, and they thought, you know what, we're Lamborghini, we're mad, we're making the Countach, the craziest car in the world, let's make this. And I am quite glad they did. Did it lay the groundwork for the Urus? Probably not, so I can't hold that against it. There's a super SUV craze anyway with the Range Rover SVR and the BMW X5M and the most obviously the Porsche Cayenne Turbo, so that was its own little bubble that's unfortunately still going. But yes, very contradictory, but I do quite like the LM002. Not so much to put it... Yeah, I think I'll put it above the Cortina. I mean, it's certainly by no means my favourite thing in the world, and I'd probably never even consider buying one, but I do like how stupid it is. Like this is one of the cars where my inner 5-year-old sort of takes over, and I do actually kind of like it after all that. Something that I will never like is the Tesla Cybertruck. Now, this... Right, I said the Lanzador was what's wrong with modern motoring. This is that as well. This is the single worst man-made object ever. It's just... I mean, to start with the way it looks, which is the most obvious thing. What's it? It looks like a bin. It looks like it's not been painted because it hasn't. So like they've not even bothered to paint it. It looks like a car from a game that hasn't rendered properly, or something that's off in the distance. Like you know when you're in a game and let's say you're flying over the city and there's the little cars, and if you'd move the camera, they'd be like really low, there'd be like 1 or 2 polygons, and they'd look like this. It's utterly stupid, and it's got so many sharp angles as well, and I don't like this modern car design craze of like making everything sharp and pointy and angular, but come on, you don't have to make it actually stab you if it crashes into you. Like, you've got a massive 3-ton pickup truck crashing into you, and then it impales you as well. Like, I hate it so much. And that's the thing, it weighs far too much to have any fun or soul, not to mention the fact that it's electric, but I'm sure that's like beating a dead horse. Like, and they lie about it so much. They said it's always faster than a Porsche 911 in a quarter-mile drag race, and then they did a video where they reportedly showed it beating a 911 in a quarter-mile drag race. But this was a basic 911, mind you, and it was 1/8 mile. They completely lied. So, and it's just rubbish at doing pickup truck things as well, because any time I've ever seen a Cybertruck try to tackle some proper off-roading, it gets utterly humbled by cars that aren't even really supposed to be proper off-roaders. And it just can't do pickup truck things either. It can't really tow properly, it can't tow for very far because its range is tiny. And not to mention the various recalls for things or updates for things, because it chops your fingers off with its automatically closing bonnet, because the panels are basically just glued on so they fall off. It's just utterly terrible and entirely deserving of its own new category. It's just that dreadful, and it's earned its spot. Like, there is no other car on this planet that can even come close to its level of awfulness. Oh, so there is something slightly worse, but it's basically the same thing. The Mansory version, because basically everything that's wrong with the Cybertruck, with some mashed up carbon fibre glued onto it, and a hideous split wing. Like, Mansory have never ever improved a car. They've always either made it worse, or in the case of their iteration of the Bugatti Veyron, actually also made it worse. It's just not as bad as some of their other attempts. But yeah, Mansory, worst attempts at car design ever. They're just awful. Anyway, I was going to say on a more positive note, this isn't really that brilliant either. This is a Ram TRX, and it's, again, what I was saying earlier about stupid, massive American pickup trucks. This is one of them. I do at least appreciate it more than the 6x6 ones, but I don't know. It's never been the sort of thing that I've liked. I actually prefer it to an F-150 Raptor for whatever reason, but yeah, I don't know. I've just never liked them. They're just, again, not my sort of thing. I just think they're a bit too big and stupid. And if you want an off-roader, there are better options. And if you want a proper V8 muscle car, get a Mustang or a Challenger or a Camaro, not a pickup truck. Unless the two exceptions to that rule are an F-150 SVT Lightning and a Ram SRT10, because those are potentially even more stupid because they can't go off-road, but I like them because they're ridiculous. They're like performance pickup trucks, and I love them. Especially the Ram, because it's got the same engine as a Viper, but I'm getting a bit off topic. This is the 2014 GMC Acadia, which is a terrible, boring and uninteresting car, but there is something slightly interesting about it. On the pre-facelift model, they had there was nothing to mention about the rear end of it. But for the facelift, which is this is the one it is, the comment specified the 2014 one. So yeah, this is a facelift model. What they did is they redid the back end completely, and the back end of it is identical to the Saturn VU, which was a car that was older than the original Acadia, and by that point Saturn had been completely axed by GMC. So they facelifted the car with the rear end of an older car from a company that does not exist anymore, which is like an interesting, useless bit of automotive trivia, but other than that, the car's completely uninspiring. Anyway, oh yes, some good cars now. 1967 Chevrolet Impala, the SS. Now this, if there's one car that exudes menace, it's this, like more than any other, especially in black, but I'd rather not have it in black. I'd rather have it in a big, loud, interesting muscle car colour like this red. And yeah, it's just potentially one of my favourite classic muscle cars. I think, right, for classic muscle cars, if my top three would be, in no particular order, would be the Plymouth Hemi Cuda, the original Charger and Challenger, and then this. So that's a top four. But yes, I'm not. But then there's the Superbird and the Dodge Daytona, which are also my favourite. Again, I'm not going to try and order them about, but I may eventually have to, because that's what this tier list is about. But yes, this is just an achingly cool car. It just exudes like. I bet when these are driving around, they have a rock and roll soundtrack following them about. They're just brilliant. They're just utterly incredible. I love them. What I also love is this, the Buick Riviera, I think the 71. Now, these are nowhere near as impressive muscle cars as the Chevelle or anything, Impala. But it's absolutely stunning to look at, certainly from the back with the boat-tailed rear end that hadn't really been seen on anything since the 30s with things like the Auburn Speedster boat-tail. And I don't know, I just think it's a really unique idea for a car, and it just makes it look utterly fantastic, even if it's not an outstanding or noteworthy car otherwise. I just think it's really, really gorgeous looking thing. So yeah, that puts it above things like the Plymouth Fury and the Renault 5 GT Turbo, which unfortunately you don't really see many of those anymore because most of them were sort of max powered into oblivion and then scrapped. But hey, if you can find a good clean one, they're brilliant little hatches. Anyway, next car, Darts Prombron, which is just awful, is what it is. It's like this, I think, Iranian, like ultra luxury SUV thing, armoured car. It's just, look at it, it's hideous, especially in this gold one that I have here. It's just, this is also just utterly gopping to behold. There's no other way to describe it. Like, why? Why would, like, right, a group of human beings went to many meetings and spent lots of money to design and build this, and no one thought, this is utterly disgusting, we should make something better. Nope, not one. And people have probably bought these, which is probably makes it even worse, because not only did they build it, there was enough tasteless people to build it, there's enough tasteless people to buy it. But yeah, that's just the way cars work. Most people are either uninterested in cars or buy completely tasteless ones like this. Now, this is a Pterodyne Gurkha, which is just literally an armoured car, and probably breaking the rules for my self-imposed rules for this tier list, but hey, whatever. And I'm not an armoured car fan, really. I've got no particular interest or disinterest for them, but I don't know. I think it's quite ugly, so yeah, I think I'm going to put it one step below the H1. But yes, here's a tier list at the minute, which is a lot more bottom heavy with all of the things like this. But yes, if you'd want to suggest some more cars to me, please can have some good cars. But yes, I don't mind what you give me, as long it gives me an opportunity to rant about stuff, and that's almost as enjoyable as talking about the cars I like. But yes, if you want to add some more cars, like I said, put them in the comments in this video, and hopefully you've had a great day or night or evening or wherever you are. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.